Welcome back to the channel.
Everything working.
Everything working. And today, man, we coming back with another Larry.
Vicious Larry Legend.
Y'all know what's going on. We doing 4 crazy stories that prove Larry Bird is the toughest player in NBA history, man. NBA history now.
So we gonna dumb it down for y'all dummies. We find out why he the toughest MFer in the league.
Yeah, we tuning it straight in. But before we do it, make sure y'all hit that like button.
And make sure y'all get in them comments and y'all subscribe. Make sure y'all get in them comments and let us know what videos y'all want to see. And we'll get back to y'all. Y'all can see in our Larry Bird playlist. Make sure y'all go check out the Larry Bird playlist. It should be somewhere around here. Somewhere. Make sure y'all go check that out. But also, you got a video that we need to check out or need to deep dive into for the Larry Bird nerds. I don't know what they culture called.
Yeah.
The birds.
The birders.
The birders. Put the link in the video. So I put the link in the comments and we get to the video, react to it as fast as we can. And make sure y'all keep reacting with us in the comments because y'all see that we reacting with y'all. Roll to Kente. Make sure y'all 10K. Roll to 10K. 10K.
Hey, let's get straight into it though. 4 crazy stories. Let's talk about it.
That look like Kobe.
But then there's Larry Bird. And many people don't know it, but he might have been equally as tough, if not tougher than Kobe Bryant when it came to pain tolerance. Bird was such a warrior that he often didn't even like to let the team staff know he was hurt. That is until later in his career when his back had deteriorated to an unbearable point. And because Bird was such a warrior, today I want to tell you guys 4 crazy stories about Larry Bird's insane level of toughness. What's up, NBA fans? Dom2K on the mic, and you've probably seen the shot to Larry Bird torturing himself later in his career when his back was forcing him into retirement, but you might not know what allowed him to deal with that pain.
Oh, he talking about his back hurt. He doing all that, bro. I know that little fall just.
Hey, you got it's the love of the game. Hey, folks back then, bro, I ain't gonna lie.
Different. That's why
they really love the game of basketball. You know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong, I ain't saying like new people, like new NBA players now don't love it, but it ain't the same. Like I'm laying my life on the line for, you know what I mean? Like it's like they casually hooping now. Yeah. And I will say they most like as far as like shooting, as a whole league, it's more talented
type shit.
But folks ain't coming from there like.
From the hard,
like from the mud with it, like they really just love the game, so they really just putting their whole life on the line for it.
Like my boy Bird, look at him.
For real, look, he going through too much pain right now.
I know it hurt, bro. He ain't got to. Oh man.
In the first place. It turns out Larry was dealing with physical ailments even before he entered the league. Before he'd ever played a game with the Celtics, he actually had his knuckle shattered by a baseball that put his professional career in jeopardy. But because he's Larry Bird and Larry Bird is from a different planet, he was able to put together a top 10 NBA career despite not ever having the same shooting touch before he shattered his knuckle. Wrap your mind around that for a second. Larry Bird accomplished everything he did in his career, and he said out of his own mouth that he never had the same feel for the basketball after the knuckle injury. But as it turns out, that's just an appetite.
So first of all, Fire, who supposed to be his part of his team, because why y'all got that man around?
Just before he was
in the league.
Yeah.
Oh my bad. Okay.
Yeah, this before
I was listening too hard.
Yeah. I was
about to go crazy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, y'all.
He ain't had no team back then.
Yeah, I was like, I said, who like got y'all? That's $1 million hand.
Right. Yeah, this before he got to it.
I think that's why that shot went like that. I think that's why that shot.
Really, that's what I about to say. I feel like it played a part in his success, though. You know what I mean? Like
that was his goddamn Spider-Man moment where he transformed. Yeah, okay.
Like when, you know what I'm saying, he knew you know what I mean, he had to go the extra mile to really hoop for real, like, cause they have been broken knuckles.
I said, bro, I can't
mess up your hand, like mess up your whole shoe.
I didn't have a fucked up finger, so a whole a whole 5 fingers gone. Not even a whole 5 finger, the whole hand, nigga. Like you can't even.
Yeah, different.
As compared to what he'd endured throughout his career. Let's jump into it. Number 4, hole in the face. Figured we start off with something crazy we've seen before. Remember when Russell Westbrook fell down after his free throw and got a hole kicked in his jaw? Yeah, that left a lot of us wondering if Westbrook was actually Android a human because he got up, moved his mouth around a little bit, and finished up what was left of the game. Luckily for him, that was only about 1 second of game time. However, it turns out that 33 years earlier, Larry Bird actually had already accomplished this superhuman feat, and surprisingly, he did Westbrook one better. I originally thought there wasn't footage of this on YouTube, but I'm so thankful there was because you need to witness how brutal this was. In a 1982 game against the Milwaukee Bucks, Larry Bird drove left to the basket and tried to bank in a routine jump shot. It clanked off the rim, Bird went up to rebound his own miss, and was violently elbowed by power forward Harvey Catchings. Westbrook's injury was an accident by his own teammate that didn't even look too bad.
Yeah, he did just
Bro, I'm talking about. Damn. I'll be down too.
Nah, for real.
When I came down, ooh, like on me. Ah, nah, bro.
Initially, it's a bit difficult to look at this footage and say it wasn't on purpose, and you actually cringe a bit when you see how hard the shot was. The elbow practically knocked Bird out and left him lying on the floor for several minutes as he looked seriously injured. From what I can tell in the tape, the injury appeared to happen before the end of the third quarter because Larry Bird went back to the locker room and came back out before the period had ended. In the fourth quarter, playing with what we now know was a fractured zygotic arch, Bird would score 8 more points including a poster dunk, 2 assists, adding some defense and hustle plays as he was even shoved out of bounds during one of the possessions. His efforts led the Celtics to a narrow win as he finished with 16 points, meaning he scored half of them with a fractured arch in crunch time.
Excuse my language, I'm shit.
On the Grady Davis footage,
Still
Bird's
killing.
jaw was depressed inward the same way
I know they
Westbrook's
won that game.
was.
Oh, God.
After Larry left his heart on the floor for his team, he was sent to the hospital where doctors had to drill a hole into the side of his face and insert a medical tool to pop his zygotic arch back out. If social media hadn't been around with clear footage back in these days, this performance would probably be a lot more famous. We were shocked to see Westbrook standing on his own with a hole in his face. Imagine watching Larry Bird play an entire extra quarter while leading his team to the win.
With a broke
Number
face.
3,
That is
just
crazy.
give me a beer. It's understandable that Larry dealt with injuries like back problems and broken bones in the face. Those things just tend to happen when you're crashing into the floor and whatnot.
Okay.
But when Larry Bird had a toe infection, it really seemed like somebody was just testing
Man,
how
had a
much he
toe
could take.
infection. Yeah,
before
them
he-
Converses.
No, I ain't.
Yeah, let's
Oh,
start
goddamn.
there.
Them
Let's
was not
start
hooping
there.
shoes, bro.
Y'all had them Converses on.
Right,
Them
them
hot
was-
tops.
Oh, God.
Yeah, y'all had them bitches tied to the shin.
That going crazy.
he finally sat out a game. In the year 1985, Bird reportedly had a serious pain going on in his toe for 3 weeks that he played on, and he wouldn't bother to get it checked out
good
because,
for him.
again, he didn't like to let anybody know he was hurt. Finally, he let the doctor look at his foot, to which it would be found that Bird had a toe infection that would require his toe to be cut so the infection could drain. The doctor insisted that Bird take a shot of Novocaine to ease the pain because the infection was actually between his toes, which was obviously going to hurt a lot. And then Bird
So that mean when
responded,
them
just
socks
give me one of
in
those
the rug,
beers over
you
there.
take your foot
So
out,
he used
probably
that as his
sound like
pain
cheese.
medication. The doctor cut 2.5 inches into his toe to let the infection drain. Larry wrapped up the foot and played the exact same night. Unfortunately, I can't find any kind of information on when this game was, who it was against, or anything like that. And I can't even see how he performed. But when he got done with the game, the wrap was obviously soaked in blood, and he was in considerable pain during the game. If it's anything like the other ridiculous games Bird had after some kind of injury that should have had him sitting for days, it's safe to say he performed well. But the fact that he
with a
played
toe
with a
infection.
2.5 inch cut into his toe with no pain meds is impressive enough for me. Number
alright, you
2,
got my respect.
double vision. A lot of people can't even shoot when there's just one basket sitting still, so imagine trying to play in a professional game when you fractured your eye orbiter and you're seeing 2 baskets. Now, the injury itself sounds pretty comparable to what Derrick Rose had not too long ago, the difference here being that Rose got hurt before the season and was able to get his problems to a manageable point before
I miss
playing in a real
Prime
game.
D-Rose.
Bird, however,
Oh, God. Prime D-Rose hit different.
Oh, man.
But nah, Larry, they
Larry.
having a toe infection.
And you hooping through it. And
Man,
and
you
you
just
take off
gotta
your
cut
soul.
open. Ugh. It's crazy
That's
work.
nasty, brother.
However, would not be so lucky. In a 1988 game against the Cavaliers, Bird was on fire, having scored 13 points in the first quarter. But when he spun away from Craig Elo with a clear lane to the basket, Del Curry, of all people, would rotate and hit Bird with a violent elbow to the side of his face. Kind of ironic that before Del was raising the greatest shooter of all time, he was apparently trying to take out the best one of his generation. Anyways, Bird sustained a fractured eye orbiter that again kept him on the floor for minutes. He went on to the locker room for treatment, came back out like he had done 6 years earlier. Only this time, he would score 18 more points to put the finishing touches on a 31-point game that included 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 4 steals on 11 of 20 shooting.
He running still hoes.
Crazy.
Instead of one person, it's 3 of them.
The rest of this game with double vision, and as he described it, he saw 2 baskets for the rest of the game, leaving him to guess which one he had to shoot at. But that's not the best part either. Not only did he light Cleveland up, but we know double vision doesn't go away after one game. As we've already established, if there was any other option than to sit a game out, that's what Bird was going to do. He ended up playing 4 more games with goggles that I'm not even sure anybody really knew he wore. And in those games, he scored 36.
I ain't never
30,
seen Larry with the goggles.
Nah, it was one.
Points. In typical Larry Bird fashion,
I gotta get
There
this.
was one video we did. He had the goggles on.
Oh, they was talking about. Yeah, I do remember that.
It was one video we did. He had the goggles on. I forgot which one it
The
was, but
fight
we
is
did
the
so
Savage.
many.
It's probably the Savage.
Yeah, I
moment.
think so. I think that's what
Make
it
sure
was.
y'all go check out
Yeah,
Larry
go check out
Bird,
the Savage
most
moment, for
savages
sure.
moment.
For sure.
Damn, bro! Imagine finding a play like a basketball card with Larry with the goggles.
Yeah.
That motherfucker. Ooh. Okay, my bad, y'all.
From the field with that. Violent elbow, fractured eye orbiter, goggles, elite scoring, hitting on over half of his field goal attempts. Again, he's Larry Bird, and Larry Bird is from another planet. Just to add some gore to the story, apparently after the Cleveland game where he initially broke the orbiter, he noticed his nose bleeding after the game. He went to blow it, and his eye bulged out a bit. Just a day in the life of Larry Bird, I guess. Number 1. Celtic pride.
Oh, this is the number 1?
You hear all this talk about Celtic pride anytime we speak about the history, and Larry Bird contributed in big part to that as his career was wrapping up. Possibly the most famous scene from the ending of his career is the one we've all seen. Larry was diving for a loose ball, goes crashing to the floor as his head bangs against it violently, and he just lays there as if his body couldn't take it anymore. Truth be told, it really couldn't. Bird was dealing with insane back issues by this point in his career, and it was through sheer determination that he was even playing by this point. However, the story behind this scene is that not only was Bird's back locking up on him, but the shot he took to the head actually knocked him unconscious for a second and left him with a concussion that threatened to keep him out of the rest of an elimination Game 5 against the Pacers. By this point, Larry was 34 years old and had missed 22 games throughout the season, and his best days had been stripped from him by an ever-deteriorating back. He sat in the locker room debating whether to go back into the game as Boston had lost their edge without him, and most of the way through the third quarter, the advantage was with the Pacers. When Larry asked the doctor for advice, he said he should be done for the day, but by this point, we all know Larry just wasn't built like that. He was still breathing, so he went back into the game with the Celtics down by 3, while they were being cracked over the head by Chuck Burks.
If they win, he goes.
With Bird back
We about to find out.
Go on a ridiculous 33-14
Damn, I
run,
like how they ran
and
out that
went on to
tunnel.
win
That
the
shit
game by 3
tough.
points, sending the Pacers home for the playoffs. Bird finished with 32 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists while shooting 63% from the field. But again, that's not the most shocking part of this story. According to teammates like Robert Parrish, when Bird hit the floor, they weren't sure he was ever going to play again. Remember that this happened at the end of Bird's career, and after back surgeries and having to lay in a fiberglass brace for hours just to be well enough to play, some thought that the fall he took meant the end of his career. And it probably would have been if Larry Bird was from Earth, but instead he went out and put up one of the most memorable playoff performances of all time. The kind of performance that really makes you sad that his career was really cut short by injury.
Small ass nigga.
These were 4 crazy stories that prove Larry Bird was likely the toughest player of all time. The crazy part about it, after reading the book he wrote with Magic Johnson and researching a little bit, I could have easily told 10 or more. The truth that people don't really talk about in terms of Larry is that despite his amazing career, it was truly only a shell of what he could have been. As early as 1985, only 6 years into Larry Bird's career, he was already experiencing back issues that resulted from him doing concrete work around his house that he could have paid someone else to do. But that's just who Larry was, an incredibly hard worker that prided himself on being the same type of soldier his father was. Larry cherishes the story about his father when he came home one day from work and had a busted ankle. The next day, the ankle was so bad that Larry had to help him put the shoe on, and his father went right back to work. It was the kind of example that led Larry to play through the ridiculous pain he began to experience really only a short way into his career. Bird played a total of 13 of the
They
most
did that
memorable
shit on
seasons
purpose,
any
boy.
NBA
Them
player
Piston
could
boys,
produce.
man.
Imagine
It's shit-
what
no
LeBron
fly
started in
zone, boy.
13 years. LeBron is already on his 14th
Look at him.
campaign.
What you
Durant is
trying to
already
do?
on his 10th. But one of those guys
Get
only
your
played
hands
13
off me, you
though.
job
That's just for
turkey.
perspective of how his career really was. And we're lucky that for that short amount of time, he had the high pain tolerance that he did. Because if he was actually human and sat out those games that anybody else would
Look, he's
sat
like,
out,
he's
we
looking
would
at the ref
likely
like,
seen even
bruh,
less of
come
him.
on, bruh.
So in conclusion,
They doing
I think
that 'cause they
Bird's proof
couldn't,
that
like,
there is
fuck
life outside
it.
of
Yeah.
Earth.
You had
and we
to
really
bully.
aren't alone.
Oh, you wanna talk
Somewhere
shit?
out there is the
Yeah.
planet Larry Bird came from,
They-
where there's
who better than him,
extraterrestrial
but they
life
about
that
to
apparently
bully
doesn't
some
feel any
shit.
type of pain. Shatter their face, knock them out, just give them a few minutes and they're right back on their feet ready to play. And if they're generous enough, maybe they're going to send another one like Larry to Earth to play in the NBA in the future. But if that doesn't happen, I'm very happy that Larry Bird was a part of NBA history. So I hope you
caught
enjoyed
his
the
own
video. I
rebound,
hope you
man.
learned
Did
something.
y'all see
Leave
that?
your
That's
favorite
crazy.
Larry
He
Bird
missed
story
that
in the
bitch,
comment section, 'cause
caught
I'm pretty
it.
sure you guys have some.
Oh,
If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell next to my name if you want notifications on my video. I'm Dom2K, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.
Man, the Larry is getting better and better as we
Yeah,
get
nah, that was-
deeper
that
off
was-
into it.
That was a good one. I ain't gonna count.
Shout out to you know who you is. I'ma like your comment. I will look you up, but we on a very strict time limit right now. But man, yeah, man, I'm liking that. I like
Nah,
that.
that was cool though. That was
Like,
cool.
please give us more Larry. Give us some Larry. We
Send
haven't
more
did.
Larry.
Go to our playlist, check it out, man. Roll to 10K,
Oh, the 10K. Hey, make sure y'all hit that like
and
button
make sure y'all subscribe to this thing.
and turn on notifications, man. Everything working.